Hey everyone, it's Dr. Devin Miles. I want to explain homeopathy again. I know I've said it in a previous video, but if you haven't heard it, I'd love to explain that first before I go into what I want to talk about today. Homeopathy is taking a dilute form of a substance and creating a profound effect on the body at a nanomolecular level. So what that looks like, let's say you have someone, normal functioning human being, and you give them a very, very high or toxic dose of coffee. If you do that, that person will be very, very jittery, very hyper, probably have some anxiety, just not be okay. And if you have somebody functioning like that already, and you give them a dilute homeopathic version of coffee, which is also called coffea cruda, they might calm down. So the idea behind homeopathy is that like cures like. So the homeopathic remedy that I want to talk about today is Ignatia amara. And this is a 6C potency. There's different potencies within homeopathy for the different remedies. So Ignatia, the key things about Ignatia is good for grief, depression, anxiety, and a certain type of feeling within the throat and a certain type of headache. So with the mind, there's contradictions and changeable moods. Ailments from suppressed grief, worry, there's disappointment. There's a lot of sighing, which is a keynote. And when I say a keynote, that means that it is pretty indicative that this may be a remedy for you. Doesn't necessarily, but it's a keynote. So sighing is one of those. You see that a lot. A good amount of weeping, quivering of the lower lip. You know, when some people cry, that lip starts to go, right? Averse to consolation. So you don't like to be consoled when you're upset or you're sad. You might not be the type of person that wants somebody to be, rubbing your back or anything. So this person is sad, sighing, changeable, moody disposition. Seems sad and weak. There's a weak, empty, flabby feeling in the pit of the stomach. There's a lot of grief, a lot of worry. Ailments can come from grief, loss, or disappointed love. Disappointed love is something that I see in homeopathy a lot in terms of the descriptions. That can mean something like a relationship gone sour. There's a headache on the side of the head, which I'll explain more in detail in a moment. And there may be spasms from emotions. They may grieve a future that didn't happen, cry alone, laugh and cry, and laugh at serious matters. They can be impatient and quarrelsome, and they may have a lot of feelings and suppress them, so they're tight, and they may have constriction around the throat. So we'll get into the throat part now. A keynote, again, of Ignatia is globus hystericus. And that is the sensation of having a lump in the throat when there's really nothing there. They may experience pain that is improved by eating solids. And the pain can be worse if they're not swallowing. Let's see, warmth will relieve it if they have fever and chills. But warmth will relieve the person if they have fever and chills. So to the headache. So if you have a headache and you're trying to describe the headache, it can be great if you can say, and usually a doctor will pull this out of you, right? But if you can describe the headache to somebody, that can be a better way for them to help you. So instead of just saying a headache, you can say it's on this side, it's pulsating, it's pressure out, or it feels congestive in. Or, as we have here for Ignatia, headache is if a nail were driven out through the side. The headache is also, and this is also something else to consider, what makes your headache better? And if it's weird, more the reason to try homeopathy. Because there can be some really unique situations that can really pinpoint a naturopathic doctor or a homeopathic practitioner to that remedy. So the headache in Ignatia can be terminated by a profuse flow of urine. So if you have a headache and you pee and it feels better, then Ignatia might be a good remedy for you. The head is better lying on the painful side. You may have anal trouble, so back there. Piles, prolapse, soreness and pain after having a bowel movement, and pains shooting up into the abdomen. You can be nervous, twitching all over. There may be some itching, and there may be some bites inside of the cheeks. So the other thing that homeopathy talks about is modalities. What the person is better with, what the person is worse with. So with Ignatia, a person may be worse from open air, coffee, tobacco, mourning, constellation like we talked about before, cold winds, turning the head suddenly, stooping, changing of position, running, or slight touch. They can be better from lying on the painful side, hard pressure, and again, profuse watery urination. So Ignatia can be a great remedy for grief, especially if you're experiencing a grief that is prolonged, you're not getting over it, or it's just too much for you to handle, and you're trying to keep it together, like, 'cause you got a job or you got something else going on. It can help to stabilize you. So I used this remedy a while ago where I was experiencing some significant grief, and I couldn't really hold it together for a little bit, and I was going to work, right? So the Ignatia helped me to be stable and function and get my job done. So Ignatia can be super great for the grief, and I want to say that grief is normal. I'm not saying take Ignatia so that you don't have grief. I'm saying it's a way to help to get over the grief, help you to still be functioning in a state of grief, as well as all of the other things I mentioned, like the headache and the throat sensations. Hope you guys have a great week.